Hey there! Welcome to the Flute 360 podcast. I'm Dr. Heidi K. Begay, and I'm a flutist, educator, coach, and podcaster. My God-given mission is to serve you. I am passionate about guiding you, the modern-day flutist, to discover your unique voice on and off the stage. The goal of this podcast is to help you thrive, both as an artist and as a musicpreneur. Go ahead and grab some espresso, your favorite notepad, and let's get to it. Today's episode 219 is titled, Must Have Breathing Resources. Hey there, flutist. It's Heidi, and I'm so pumped to get into today's content, which is all about breathing resources for you. Before we do, I want to draw your attention to an upcoming masterclass, which is scheduled for October 8th, 2022 at 10 a.m. Central Time. There are 4 performer spots available and unlimited auditor seats also available. Whether you want to attend and listen and learn or perform, both links are in the show notes below. I can't wait to see you, and go ahead and register now because the deadline to register is Wednesday, October 5th, 2022, if you want to be a performer. See you soon. All right, so today's episode has officially begun. Welcome. And I feel like you literally are walking into the Flute 360 studio right now. The reason why I say that is because the last few months I have been noticing this conversation come up quite a bit through my students' lessons. Whether they are a student from California, Indiana, Finland, Texas, it doesn't matter. They have been asking me questions about breath control and developing and increasing their lung capacity. So specifically, I'm thinking of some high schoolers. They recently went through marching band pass-offs. And when their nerves get the best of them, they feel like their air is being attacked first. Their air is a little bit shorter, right? There's less of it because they're nervous. And we have all been there. I know I have. So because of this, then tapping into and performing and playing perhaps a long phrase in that audition repertoire becomes a challenge. And since we are artists of air, right, we want to have that ease and flexibility and fluidity with our air, and we don't necessarily want to feel restrained, right? And not having enough air in order to really execute and show our musical intentions through our instrument. So the 2 resources that I want to draw your attention to are the breath builder and a breathing bag. So the breath builder basically comes in 3 parts. There is a ping pong ball enclosed and encased within a plastic tube, and then there is a plastic straw. Mine is purple, and it came with 2 different sized breathing straws. The one that I use as a flutist is the larger straw. Now the goal is to keep the ping pong ball afloat to the top of the tube through the inhalation and the exhalation. So as you are blowing out and as you are breathing in, we're keeping that ping pong ball up to the top of the tube with as much ease as possible. So when I approach this device, I try to remain free of tension and any tension that is going to restrict that airflow. So what I mean by that is I want to have an elongated spine. I want to sit up really nice and beautifully and naturally and bring the breath builder to my mouth. I'm really avoiding rolling in the shoulders, rolling in the chest, because I want to have my lungs expanded to their fullest. So with that, as you are practicing with the breath builder, one tip that I would love to offer you is the goal and the objective is keeping that air in motion. All right? We want to move the ball. We want to get the ball moving with as much ease as possible. So you can practice creatively. You can practice a multitude of different ways of how long you exhale and how long you inhale, right? So the other thing that you might notice about this device is that at the top of the plastic tube, there are 3 different sized cut out holes. You can play with these and notice how covering one hole versus another changes the level of resistance. Now, when I practice with the breath builder, I am not practicing for hours on this thing. You don't want to do that, and you really don't need to do that. Probably a good 30, 60, or 90 seconds at best is all you need just to get the air moving. I love to have it out on top of my filing cabinet in my studio, so that way I can go between the breath builder and the flute if need be. So here's a quick demonstration. You are only really hearing this through your earbuds. There's no visual representation right now, but there are a ton of YouTube videos out there totally for free where other musicians demonstrate how they use the breath builder. So you can see that through that inhalation and exhalation, that ping pong ball stayed up to the top of the device. And then finally, when I let go of my support, it fell to the bottom. So it's amazing that within those 5 or 7 seconds of demonstrating the breath builder, I feel that much more alive and awake. Now that I am refreshed, I'm going to have to incorporate the breath builder into my podcast recording sessions now and not just my practice sessions. But anyways, I digress. So the whole point is to get the air moving with as much ease as possible. It really opens everything up. And for me, the air is almost like an ocean tide, right? It's coming up and back, in and out as natural as possible. So if you are interested in purchasing the breath builder as of now in September of 2022, it's about $20 American dollars. The other thing that I want to say about this device before we move on to the breathing bag is that this is also a great way to practice your articulation. Because we know as flutists, the most important factor to articulation is the air. If the air is stopping and going and it's really inconsistent, then tonguing is going to be a challenge. So if you can tongue as you're breathing through the breath builder, you will notice when and if your airstream is coming to a stop. And having that information is going to be invaluable because then you'll know what's going on with your airstream that's supporting or should be supporting that articulation. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and move on to the breathing bag. I do know that there are 2 different options out there, to my understanding. There is the 5-liter or 6-liter option. It's a rubber bag, and the flutist who actually introduced this device to me was Dr. Susanna Self. She was actually an interim flute professor at Texas Tech University one semester when Dr. Lisa Garner-Santa was on sabbatical, and I learned a lot from her. So I purchased my medical bag probably back in, 2016, 2017, and I have fallen in love with this resource. So it has the same idea as the breath builder. The only difference really is that Visually, it looks a little bit different. Also, I feel like I have to use more air with the breathing bag because there's more space, right? But it basically is another great visualization to inform me of how my inhalation and exhalation are going. I get to visually see the breathing bag expand or deflate. The size of the opening, the aperture of the bag is a little bit larger, which I like because it's a reminder of keeping my neck and throat really wide and open in order for the air to come in and out as naturally as possible. So for me, I have the 5 liter bag because I really have a hard time filling up the 6 liter bag. Now, what you can do is if you have either one, you can at the end of the bag roll up the tip a little bit to make the bag shorter, a little smaller. This could really help you as you are expanding your lung capacity. So with the breathing bag for musicians, I'm not going to audibly demonstrate because you don't have the audible representation of the ping pong ball coming up to the top of the tube and falling down to the bottom of the tube. This is a little bit harder because it's rubber. But with the breathing bag, like I said earlier, you can decide if you want the 5 liter or 6 liter option. And I know you can purchase it through Amazon and other websites, and they retail for about 20 to 25 American dollars, again, as of September of 2022. Now, with the breathing bag, the one thing that I want to offer you is that you can be super creative in your breathing exercises with this device, just like with the Breath Builder. So you can start off with the metronome at quarter note 60, pick your tempo. So you can do 4 beats of breathing in, 4 beats out, and continue in that manner. Just like the Breath Builder, you don't need to do like minutes or hours on this device. A good 30, 60, 90 seconds could be all you need just to waken up the airstream. Now, you can start off with 4 in and 4 out, but then you can get creative. Why not move over to 1 beat for inhalation and 4 beats out for exhalation? Because we don't always have the luxury, right, of having 4 beats of preparing our breath. But as we're doing this, whether it's 4 in, 4 out, or 1 in, 4 out, it doesn't matter. We want the air to be coming into our body as freely as possible. We want to avoid any unnecessary tension in the throat, the neck, the shoulders, the chest. We want to be tension-free. So between the Breath Builder and the breathing bag for musicians, I love both devices equally as much because of the visual component. We get to see what's going on with our airstream, whether through the rubber expanding in and out or through the placement of the ping pong ball. I hope that this information has served you well, and if you are interested in purchasing either device, the links are located below in the show notes. Have a great night.
Let's talk about Flute.